Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Playing with Fire. Today we're diving into the financial world of Cleco Power and Cleco Securitization 2 LLC. But don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. It's about bonds which are like IOUs, but instead of borrowing from your friend, they're borrowing from investors. Hopefully we will find out if Cleco is playing with fire or lighting up the future with these bonds. Scrolling states Comanche Societies SE Shirt and scroll. This report is an 8K filing, which is basically a quick update a company gives to the Securities and Exchange Commission about big news. In this case, it's about Cleco Securitization, or I'll say issuing a bunch of bonds. These aren't just any bonds, they're energy transition bonds, which sounds fancy, but really just means they're supposed to help Cleco move towards cleaner energy. So on March 12, 2025, Cleco Securitization 2 LLC, which we will call the issuing entity because it's easier to remember, issued $305 million in bonds. These are called Series 2025A Senior Secured Energy Transition Bonds. That's a mouthful. Basically, they borrowed $305 million and these bonds are like promises to pay that money back with interest. These bonds were made official based on a document with the Bank of New York Mellon Trust Company National Association as the trustee. Think of a trustee as someone who makes sure everyone plays fair. Now, this report includes a bunch of exhibits, which are like supporting documents. These exhibits are different agreements about the bonds, including one on how the bonds work, how they will be managed, and a legal opinion. There's even a legal opinion from a law firm called Phelps Dunbar LLP, saying that everything is legal, and another one saying that the taxes are all in order. Also, there's an agreement between the issuing entity and Cleco Power LLC about how these energy transition properties will be serviced. Think of servicing as taking care of or managing these properties. There's an agreement for the sale of these energy transition properties between Cleco Securitization 2 LLC and Cleco Power LLC. This probably means that some assets were sold to get the money for the bond issuance. This says who will administer the agreement between the two companies involved and make sure everything is followed. Finally, there's an agreement that sorts out the rights of different lenders in case Cleco has other debts. It basically decides who gets paid first if something goes wrong. Scroll opinion of Phelps Dunbar LLP with respect to US constitutional matters and CAFSU Louisiana constitutional matters. Even have another opinion from Phelps Dunbar LLP about the US and Louisiana constitutional matters in case the government has anything to say. So what's the big picture here? Cleco is borrowing $305 million to fund energy transition projects. They're doing this through a special company, Cleco Securitization 2 LLC, which is issuing these bonds. They've got all the legal bases covered with agreements and opinions from lawyers. Cleco is an energy company that provides electricity to homes and businesses, mostly in Louisiana. They're in a changing industry with more pressure to move away from old fossil fuels and towards renewable energy sources like solar and wind. These bonds are a way for them to get the money they need to make that change. But why not just use their own money? Well, big projects like building solar farms or upgrading power plants can be expensive. Borrowing money through bonds lets them spread out the cost over time. Also, by issuing energy transition bonds, they might be able to attract investors who are specifically interested in supporting green projects. Is this a good move for Cleco? It's hard to say for sure without knowing all the details. On the one hand, it allows them to invest in cleaner energy, which could be good for the environment and their long-term reputation. On the other hand, it adds to their debt, which means they'll have to pay interest on that $305 million for years to come. The energy industry is facing big changes, and Cleco is trying to adapt. These bonds are a tool to help them do that. Whether it's a smart move or a risky gamble will depend on how well they manage the money and how the energy market evolves in the future. We will see what happens with their future reports. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe for more corporate deep dives.